Welcome to magnificent Fraser Island. Somewhere I think where you could spend a few weeks exploring and not even see half the place. Scotty and I, we're here with the Isuzu Adventure Club. We've only got 2 days, but 2 days, that's good. We've got a couple of cars, got some maps on the phone. I haven't been here before, so I'm really excited. We're going to see how much we can do in just 2 days. Fraser Island's only a few hours north of Brisbane. It's pretty easy to get to, and once you're on here, you really can see a lot in a small amount of time. Scotty's been here a few times before. He knows what's going on. We've got some cars. We're going to give this D-Max a really good run today up towards the top end. We're going to be driving an MUX as well, see how that goes, give them a really good road test. So come along with us, we'll see what we can do. Let's go check out Fraser Island.
So I'm with Sam Purcell. We're just on Fraser Island, and we're just up here for a few days, and we didn't really pack any paper maps this time, which is something I don't like to do, but we're also in a press vehicle which doesn't have any navigation equipment or off-road anyway. So yeah, we've just been using this HEMA app. It's a mobile app based on their new Australia topo. The tracks on Fraser are pretty well signposted. Once you start getting off the main beaten paths, yeah, it really does pay to have a bit of navigation. But yeah, this has actually been really good, this app. Fully zoomable, Australia-wide coverage.
I like just having it. I've got it on my phone as well. I mean, it's so handy just to have pretty much all of Australia. Pretty good forward drive maps. Some of the best maps you can get, just in your skyrocket. You know, it's there, ready to go. Does use a little bit of battery, I suppose, especially when you're logging, so it does pay just to keep it plugged in. It'll chew through your phone battery relatively quickly, but you know, that's manageable, I think.
And the other thing I really like about this is once you get the app, all the maps are preloaded for right across Australia, so there's no loading up maps or trying to find Wi-Fi to grab.
Smashing data.
Yeah, that's it. So overall, really good.
Lake McKenzie. Beautiful. So we were at Lake McKenzie before. This is his jetty. Still standing, a lot of very solid wood. He used to run all of his timber onto little train tracks, bring it down to here to ship it off. It was a pretty big industry for Fraser Island back in the day, not so much these days, all national park. Gee, bloody hell. I was wondering where I left my tractor. Should have brought some starchy bastard, get the thing running. Should be right. Bit of fish oil. Come good.
So Sam, day one, driving Fraser, what do you reckon, mate?
Mate, pretty good. Pretty good. The tracks aren't too bad actually, up the middle here. Everything's pretty firm, not too challenging. Just coming out of Mackenzie's old ruins there on the west coast. A little bit, you know, a few tree roots and stuff floating around, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, that was well worth the visit, wasn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Car's going pretty good, isn't it? It's actually quite surprising.
So this is the update they did. It was about sort of 8 months ago or so. So it's 6-speed gearbox, a bit more torque out of the motor. It's a good thing. It's like MUX has always been a pretty solid performer, I think, but this has made a good thing a bit better at the end of the day. Still a pretty no-nonsense car. Like I noticed before, the suspension and the steering and stuff like that, while on road there are better cars, it actually pays some pretty good dividends on tracks like this. You know, it's pretty forgiving. You know, you can sort of drive along and it soaks up the bumps pretty nicely.
Yeah, that's we were just mentioning before that we're actually really impressed with the off-road ability of the factory suspension. It doesn't really give you too much reason to want for aftermarket stuff, to be honest. It's not really lacking.
You would only do that, I think, if you wanted to increase the ground clearance underneath. You know, that's the same old story there. A 50mm lift, some quality suspension there would help. But in saying that, this is, in terms of driving, this is dialed in pretty nicely. Pretty surprised with the amount of variety here on Fraser. You know, you see the pictures of the big open beaches on the eastern side, definitely, and that's what Fraser's all about, but there's a heap of variety through here. I mean, we're going through some pretty lush forest at the moment. There's mangrove areas, there's a bit of rainforest, there's the western coast, which has a lot of little inlets and stuff like that. There's actually a lot of different things to explore here. So it's pretty cool to jump in the four-wheel drive and go exploring. If you've got a four-wheel drive with a DPF, you just need to know about it, know how the system works, know when it does a regen, understand that whether it's an automatic regen or a manual one, most of them are automatic I think these days. The Land Cruiser you can do a manual regeneration on, that's for miners and farmers and stuff like that. It does make things very hot under your car, so if you're going to do a big desert run and you're driving across spin effects and that sort of thing, you don't want to be doing a regen when you're on top of that stuff. So definitely keep an eye on what your car's doing in that regard. This MUX, you simply go through the little speedo screen on the front there, have a look, it says DPF levels. When it gets really high, then it starts to do a regen, and you can smell it. Hey, it does get pretty hot, so it's not a killer, it's just about paying attention. So where are we headed?
Midpoint.
Right.
Last time I was on Fraser, which was a similar time last year, it was closed off, and it's got a really beautiful outlook back across to Harvey Bay, Bundaberg region. So we've just been cruising up the west coast this morning. We've got a high tide very shortly over on the eastern beach, so we won't be able to cross Eli Creek at the moment, so killing time in a very pleasant way at the moment. It's beautiful.
So it's a pretty important thing to think about, I suppose, if you're coming to Fraser, planning your trip around what's going on with the tides.
Yeah, absolutely. Right up the north, Sandy Cape, once you go past Indian Head and Orchid Beach, the water level does come right up to the dunes on the high tide, so it makes it impassable. So particularly if you are going up the north, then you really have to think carefully about tides. I think if you get up there and you get stuck, like if you've got a barge booked, for example, it's very easy to potentially miss
on the wrong side.
Yeah.
So when the tide's up on the east side, the beauty of Fraser is you can come over and explore the western side, but double check when you're going to make sure it's open. This is Moon Point, that's the road to it there. But it's been closed for a while and it's still closed today, so we'll double back, check out some other inland tracks and head our way over to the eastern side again to get the running of the tide there and maybe head up the beach for the afternoon. Not a bad way to spend the day.
So this is all gated off, as we've just seen. So we've come up from the south. So now what we'll do is just head back across the island, over to the east side, down Happy Valley, and we might grab ourselves some lunch, I reckon.
Sounds good. So about 20 k's, mate. How long would you give it to do that on these tracks?
Well, the speed limit on the island, all the inland tracks is 30 k's an hour, so based on that,
yeah, right.
we're looking at
best part of an hour.
Yeah, 45 minutes easy.
Yeah, okay. So Bullock Road heads further north. Scotty was saying it's pretty bad on pinstripe territory though, so we'll give that a miss. The old Isuzu's already got a couple of pinstripes now already, unfortunately, but driving the track's pretty nice. It handles the rough stuff pretty well, which I appreciate. Dingo! A little Eli Creek crossing here. Doesn't look too bad today. Can get pretty gnarly sometimes apparently, but should be right here. Nose it in. Bit of water moving in it. Through. Let's keep going north. Here we are at Champagne Pools. Let's go check it out. So this is what happens when you stop to pick up the camera guy. You might not get moving again.
Well, that was interesting. One of the hazards of this bypass track is oncoming traffic. It is only a single way, single track, so yeah, at the worst possible time, just as I was going around a corner, another vehicle was heading my way, so we both had to stop, and momentarily I became stuck. So what we did is aired down a little bit more, down to about 8 psi, and got us through. No problems at all.
Now we're back on the beach and everything's good. My tip is wear shoes or thongs because the sand gets quite hot. Back on some harder sand now, so tyres were down pretty low to get out of that bit of trouble we had. Put them back up, a little bit safer, still be going alright. So we made it. Here we are.
What do you reckon, mate? Sandy Cape, first time.
Beautiful. It's such a different vibe up here. I can tell already. It's heaps quieter. The beach looks and feels a bit different. It does feel quite remote actually. We've just made it. We're pretty much bang on high tide at the moment, or somewhere thereabouts. So we had a pretty good run there. Definitely worth spending a few hours driving up the beach and getting up here because it's pretty stunning. bit windy. I don't know if you can hear me that well. I just want to show you. That's what it's all about, in my opinion. It's the end of the road here at the moment. Spend some time, just hang out and enjoy this very special place. It's bloody awesome. So we're all done. Waiting for the barge to get back over onto the mainland. So what have we learned after this last couple of days? Well, can you see a lot of Fraser Island in 2 days? Bloody oath you can. And can you do it in a stock vehicle? Bloody oath you can. Top place. You should go visit yourself. All done. On our way home.